instability outside. You can feel it just in the air. And just now we did get that brand new sweep from our radar site here, still showing some of that circulation, not as tight, a little more broad at this time. But that's going to be why the National Weather Service did go ahead and issue that tornado warning. They were talking about it a little bit. Soon that threat just became a bit more materialized, and so they wanted to go ahead, give those folks a heads up, especially as it approaches closer towards Mobile County. So again, it's getting closer towards 63, just going to be moving along the north side there of Wade, but making its way closer towards Harleston as we progress throughout the rest of this afternoon. So again, if you're just now joining us, thank you so much for being here. I'm Fox 10 News meteorologist Jennifer Lambers, keeping you updated. We will have storm coverage here at Fox 10 News as we make our way throughout the rest of this afternoon for all of those storm threats that we're monitoring for today and also heading into tomorrow. So here is a look there where that tornado warning is currently located in Jackson County, Mississippi. Reminder, it is cut off at that Mobile County state line, but regardless, this storm system is still going to be tracking further off towards the east. So it will eventually make its way into Mobile County. So if you're located in Big Creek Lake, if you're located in Sims, you're not yet included in that, but there you go. They did just go ahead and extend that tornado warning line, which now does include portions of Mobile County and also portions of Agricola and down towards Shipment. So here's going to be a look at that brand new tornado warning, just following some of that storm motion as we progress throughout the rest of this afternoon. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some of the details on that new tornado warning for us for this afternoon. There we go. Not quite wanting to work at this time. But again, that's going to be that brand new tornado warning that does include George County, Mississippi, and also it includes Mobile County. So they went ahead and extended that tornado warning as it will track further towards the northeast. But the storm motion with this is going to be moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. And again, this is just going to be radar indicated. So nothing confirmed on the ground at this time, but it will mainly remain over some of those rural areas of western Mobile and George counties. But just make sure that you're taking cover now. You can move downstairs. You can go ahead and move to some of those interior areas of some of the portions of your home. Stay away from any of those windows. Here's a tighter look at some of that rotation there that's just moving through Jackson County, Mississippi, about to cross over Wade, Mississippi, just on the north side of it. So again, still some tight circulation with that brand new radar sweep. We'll continue to monitor this and keep you updated. Again, we do have that team coverage here at Fox 10 throughout the remainder of this afternoon and this evening, with that storm threat only continuing to materialize, all ahead of what we've been talking about heading into tomorrow. Because a reminder, if you stepped outside, it's warm, it's mild, it's muggy. That instability is only on the rise out there with some of those overcast skies. And so that just ahead of some of that warm air, that's what's leading to some of these storms developing some of that rotation. So again, stay updated with us here at Fox 10. I will say that last radar sweep that we did just get here, not looking as tight, not looking as impressive. So that will be that good news. But until we get that next sweep, then we're just going to continue to monitor and stay updated with you here on Fox 10, especially now that it does include Mobile County in that tornado warning. So again, in case you're just now joining us, there's that threat of where we're starting just to track some of that area of rotation, not confirmed at this time, but we've been monitoring some of those across the Gulf Coast. So more of those areas of rotation, some of those storms that we've been seeing out there, and also some of that hail. So even if you're not quite seeing this specific storm, there's still additional areas out there that's very active with some of that thunder, some of that lightning, and some of that wind and that hail threat. So even areas closer towards Citronelle and Chanchula, you're hearing all of that thunder, you're hearing all of that lightning with some of the storms as they continue to move through. That line of storms still very active and only going to continue to stay that way throughout this afternoon and this evening. And we could even see some of that as we get further along into tomorrow. Now I'm going to go ahead and look of what else that we're tracking here. As mentioned, we do have that team coverage here. So just continuing to see what we're tracking out there and trying to see even just a little bit right there, possibly even seeing just a little bit of that debris signature within that system. So that's why it's going to be so important to stay updated with what we're seeing here. I do have meteorologist Nicholas Herboso helping me as well at this time. And so seeing just an observed correlation coefficient. What that means is that we are starting to get some of that debris lofted into the air. leading to us believing that this could possibly be an active threat on the ground. So in case you're located in this area of Jackson County, Mississippi, make sure that you are in your safe space. Again, this just went from that radar observed tornado to possibly now a radar indicated tornado that could possibly be on the ground. That was going to be that correlation coefficient, that debris tracker out there, just leading to this elevated threat for those storms across the Gulf Coast. So it's going to be so important. Just make sure that you're in your safe space. Make sure that with your house, that'll be the downstairs level. That'll be an area that doesn't quite have those windows. Think of that pantry. Think of that basement if you have it. Think of that closet, or possibly even think of that bathroom. So as we look in just a little bit closer, here's where we're just tracking some of those as they continue to move over 63. So again, we do have that correlation coefficient and that debris signature there across the Gulf Coast for what we're seeing out there. Can't quite get down to ground level at this time, but this is going to be moving over the north side there of Wade, getting closer towards Harleston, and just moving on the north side of Hurley. So this is going to be moving into Mobile County here pretty soon. And that is why we do have that tornado signature there. So there is going to be that brand new sweep as it does get closer towards Old Americus. And we even have a little bit of that hook signature beginning to pop up. So this is a very active storm as it is moving across the Gulf Coast. Stay updated with us here at Fox 10. This threat is only continuing to get larger. We do have team coverage here at Fox 10. I am joined by meteorologist Matt Barentine. He's going to also continue to work hard to keep us updated as it gets closer. So we are starting to get a better view of just what that street level view is looking like. So moving closer towards Movella and just on the south side there of Barton Agricola Road. It's getting closer towards that George County, Mississippi state line. So once we get closer towards that, we'll get a much better view of what that street level is looking like. So Hal Tanner Chapel Road, if you're closer towards Wilmer, you need to go ahead, get into your safe space, get into that bottom level of your home, away from any of those bathroom. You can get into the bathroom, get away from any of those windows. And as a reminder, you can always stay updated with us by downloading that Fox 10 weather app. That way you can live stream any of our coverage right there in the palm of your hand. Here's a look at that 3D radar. So just really showing some of the cloud tops there and some of the rise of the storm level that we're seeing out there. So again, stay updated with us. This does look to be like a confirmed tornado on the ground at this time, just showing some of that debris that we're starting to see out there moving across the Gulf Coast. So again, this is going to be an active tornado warning as it moves across the Gulf Coast. This is looking to be an active threat out there now that we do see that debris signature moving in. So this will begin to move into George County, Mississippi here soon before tracking into Mobile County in just a little bit. So here is a look at that beginning to get closer towards Old Americus, so Movella, Agricola, even portions of Mobile County closer towards Wilmer. Make sure you have a way to go ahead, get those alerts, move into that safe space. I know that a lot of kids are out of school for today. Make sure also that they are a way of getting those alerts. Go ahead, call home, make sure that they're updated if you have anyone at home in the Wilmer area, as this will only continue to be that threat that we track throughout the rest of this afternoon, as it does move in soon to George County, Mississippi. It's currently in Jackson County, Mississippi, but they went ahead and extended that tornado warning because of that threat. There is that active area of rotation as it moves towards the northeast. So again, moving closer towards Agricola, Novell, Harleston, just on the north side there, and getting closer towards that Mobile state line. So this really is going to be a slow moving system. It's moving northeast around 20 miles per hour. So in case any of those areas that I mentioned, if you're in the track of any of those, you still have plenty of time to go ahead, get prepared, and stay updated with us. Make sure that you are checking in with anyone that you know that lives in those areas as it does move towards the northeast. But in case you're just now joining us, my name is meteorologist Jennifer Lambers. We're keeping you updated right here at Fox 10. We do have team coverage. I'm joined by meteorologist Matt Barentine. And this is going to be an active threat on the ground. This was going to be that debris indicated radar tornado out there. Also even beginning to see a little bit more of a stronger storm there just on the west side of Chunchula and Gulf Crest. But there's a look at that debris signature that we're seeing closer towards 63. So this is still in Jackson County, Mississippi, beginning to move closer towards Barton Agricola Road and Movella and Agricola. Again, right there is going to be the main concern for us. So if you are included in this tornado warning, this is an active threat on the ground. You need to go ahead, get into that safe space. Make sure you're staying updated with us. Give someone a call, give someone a heads up in case you or anyone you know lives in this area. This is going to be that active threat that we're continuing to monitor out there as it does get closer towards the Wilmer area. You're right there on the edge of this tornado warning. It's been tracking through just a little bit, but only continuing to materialize and showing more of that development, more of that strengthening, and bringing in more of those concerns. There's going to be that debris signature right there as it does approach closer towards Old Americus and will only move towards the northeast. Again, tracking at about 20 miles per hour. There's a look at that radar and that system as it continues to move through, becoming a bit more active with that thunder and that lightning. I had some folks here at Fox 10. They were driving in earlier. They looked that direction. They said it looks real bad over there, and that's exactly what we're seeing. It is likely very dark with some of that cloud cover, some of those gray skies out there, but we will continue to keep you updated right here on Fox 10 as it does move through George County, Mississippi, and eventually we'll be tracking towards the northeast into Mobile County. So Mobile County folks, you still have a while until this system will get closer towards you. The National Weather Service, they're just giving you plenty of heads up, plenty of time to prepare. So those Wilmer folks, if you're located in far west Mobile, just make sure that you are also staying updated with the forecast, as we'll only continue to see more of this storm threat continue to materialize, continue to strengthen out there. So there is going to be a look at that rotation. I will say it's looking a bit more broad at this time, but as we were seeing just some of that debris that was being lofted up into the air, that was going to be that debris tracker, that correlation coefficient. It has a great job of just seeing what's being lofted up there and to be able to tell the difference between what it's seeing. And so some of that debris that we're seeing lofted up, that could be trees, that could be portions of buildings, and it's going to be that bright green ball that you see right there. That's really going to be the difference in what we have to look for with this. So that's what led from a radar indicated tornado to that active threat currently on the ground and what we're tracking out there. So stay updated with us if you are in that tornado warning. That does include Jackson County, Mississippi. It includes George County, Mississippi, and also Mobile County, Mississippi. I'm sorry, Mobile County, Alabama, just closer towards Wilmer. Make sure that you are going ahead, getting into that safe space, getting into your shelter, because this will be that active threat on the ground. We've been monitoring the potential for some of these strong to severe storms for today and also heading into tomorrow. I know that we've been talking about Saturday a lot, but heading into this afternoon, we're still looking at the potential for some of those strong to severe storms out there. So we're going to continue to watch this, keep you updated here on Fox 10. Just a reminder, I am joined by meteorologist Matt Barentine. We do have that team coverage here at Fox 10. Matt is also monitoring some of this and keeping us updated. Matt.
Yeah, Jennifer. So we're getting word from the National Weather Service that it does seem to be the debris signature does seem to be getting a little bit starting to fade out. And there we go. Here's the new scan, and we really can't pick it out very well anymore. So that's good news to see the debris signature going away. That makes it more likely that we don't have something on the ground. But we did for a little while, it appears, because we did have a pretty decent debris signature there, whirling up Highway 63 there near Old America. So this is just about to cross the line from Jackson County into George County, right there near Highway 63. And it's going to continue working its way off to the northeast. Like Jennifer was saying, this is a fairly slow mover. We're only looking at this thing moving around 20 miles an hour, if that. Seems it may even be going slower. So it's a slow mover. And right now, like I said, from the Weather Service getting word that they're not being able to pick out the debris signature like they were earlier. So that's a good sign. So hopefully it stays that way. But we still got some very strong gusty winds in here. We're going to be seeing wind gusts of around 60 miles per hour here in this cell that is working its way through the southeastern part of George County. So we're southeast of Lucedale, around Agricola, Novella, and headed towards Wilmer. So Wilmer, you're already dealing with a thunderstorm right now, but you're about to get into a more significant storm here that's just down the road. Once again, there is a tornado warning with this one here in George County and parts of Mobile County until 1:15. So that gives us a little bit over 30 minutes to be watching this and seeing exactly what it's going to end up doing. Once again, we do have a tornado warning. It was for a spin up here in Jackson County, Mississippi, just off to the south of Old Americus, and is now working its way across Jackson County line into George County. So we're going to be making its way into George County, and then whatever the storm is once it moves beyond here, if it still stays severe, it'll be moving into Mobile County, but that's going to be a little while before it does so. Once again, it's a fairly slow mover. There's parts of the storm that's already in Mobile County, but the severe section of the storm is going to take probably another 30 minutes or so to arrive in Mobile County. So there's time. If you're in Wilmer, you should be in a safe place anyway, because you got a pretty nasty storm over your head right now. But once again, the severe side of the storm is still down the road from you. If you're in Wilmer, it's more over right around the state line. In fact, if I'll get the velocity back up, see if we can't still pick out the signature. It has been getting broader here. Yeah, it's getting much harder to see here at this point. So I'll put the little pointer up there and you'll be able to see what we're looking at here. Where we see these reds and greens coming together is where we're seeing some rotation going on, but the reds and greens aren't very tight anymore. A few minutes ago, it looked like a little marble, and so showing good rotation now. Things are much more broad here. We're still seeing gusty winds, but we're not seeing as much of a tight rotation anymore there around Old Americus. But we're going to keep an eye on it. We're obviously going to still be in a tornado warning here for southern George County going into Mobile County. And so we'll have to see if it can spin back up, because it looks like it, for the moment, it has spun down. Once again, we're talking about this area around Old Americus. I'll go ahead and it's very broad now, but it's this whole area that we're keeping an eye on. Once again, earlier it was tighter, and we could see that it was most likely had a pretty good circulation with it. Now it's more of a straight line wind gust here along this part. And that was really more of what we were anticipating with these storms here today, is more of a straight line wind event as these storms came together in a linear fashion. And sort of on the tail end of this, we're getting a tornado warning. Once again, that is crossing from Jackson County into George County. So there is the whole picture here of what we're looking at. And I'll go ahead and zoom back down into the warned area. Once again, heavy thunderstorm there around Agricola going up towards Wilmer. The severe part of it is just now crossing the line here between Jackson and George County. If I can get my arrow to point up right there. That's where we're keeping an eye on right there. It's right there on the George and Jackson County line on Highway 63. And it's tracking northeast. So that'll take it right past Agricola, and then eventually to the state line and to the Wilmer area in western Mobile County. But that's going to be a little while before it gets there. This is, once again, a fairly slow mover here with this storm. I'm actually going to pull up the Futurecast now just real quick. We're going to take a quick look at what we anticipate through the rest of the day. So we could see some more scattered showers and thunderstorms here going through time as we get into this afternoon, but we should see fewer than what we've seen around here midday. We were anticipating the most active part of the day here would be midday. So that's what we're looking at here. There's the Futurecast. And once again, here it goes to about 3 o'clock. You can see now moving over to Baldwin County and then moving over towards Pensacola as we get to 5. You can also notice it doesn't look as vigorous as it was earlier, so we're not going to be seeing the same level of thunderstorm action. So this is probably going to be around the height of it here around lunchtime and around midday. So that's what we're looking at, Jennifer.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, so do keep that in mind. We were really focusing on tomorrow to be that threat, but then as we progress throughout the day, I kept getting comments about it, how gross it truly felt outside. You could feel that moisture, that warmth, that humidity, that instability only beginning to go up. And so that was leading to some of the storm development. Meteorologist Matt Maritime right there, he was talking about it earlier this morning. You could, if you're watching Good Day Gulf Coast, then he mentioned that some of those storms tracking over coastal Mississippi, they were beginning to show just some of that strengthening, more of that thunder, more of that lightning development. And so as we made our way throughout Studio 10 and Fox 10 midday, we were beginning to get notes of some of that. Those storms, they were showing those signs of rotation. I had mentioned it there at the very end of Fox 10 midday, saying make sure you have a way to get those alerts. Even heading into this afternoon, the National Weather Service already mentioning some of those storms contain some of that rotation, and that was exactly what we saw transpire not too long ago. So in case you're just now joining our coverage, again, that tornado warning was initially issued for Jackson County, Mississippi. Then they went ahead and extended it once that threat grew bigger, and we showed some of that correlation coefficient, that debris, just showing some of that being lofted into the air. And so now it's moving into George County, Mississippi. Portions of Mobile County still included in that, just closer towards Wilmer, really just splitting the line right there. Big Creek Lake, very northern portions there included in it, but not quite fully. So this is mainly going to be for far western Mobile County, only continuing to track further towards the northeast northeast. The storm motion on this closer towards that 20-mile-per-hour range, but some of those wind gusts in it still very strong. Now, what we're going to be sharing with you guys later here at Fox 10, we actually got sent in some of the videos of the storm as it was moving across the highway from our sister station WLOX down in Mississippi. So we'll continue to keep you updated here as we did get in one of those video submissions. But here's a look at what we're seeing right now. Agricola, even if you're in Wilmer, we have some of that very heavy rain in those areas. Noticing more of those lightning strikes only beginning to ramp up. Even down on the south side, just closer towards Big Point, more additional storms. So even if you're not included in any of these tornado warnings, you're still experiencing some of that heavy rain, some of that active thunder, some of that lightning, likely hearing some of that, seeing some of that closer towards Gulf Crest. If you're in Chanchula, you're hearing it. Again, if you're in Baldwin County, you're okay. You're not included in this. If you're in downtown, midtown, even portions of West Mobile, you're fine. You're not included in that warning, despite seeing some of those gray, gloomy, overcast skies, some of those heavy showers. You're probably hearing some of this thunder and that lightning. Where we're tracking those active threats is going to be right here in these red boxes. So really beginning to push out of Mississippi. They'll soon be moving into Alabama, but most of that just isolated closer towards Agricola with some of that rotation. Now we'll have to check in on additional areas here across the Gulf Coast. But again, that tornado warning still in effect. We're going to continue to keep you updated with that team coverage here on Fox 10. But even then, we move into Washington County, we move into Clark County, and still seeing some of those showers and those storms. This line is only beginning to strengthen as all ahead of it, we have that instability in place. It's warm, it's mild, it's muggy, and that's exactly what these storms thrive on. And so do keep in mind, living here on the Gulf Coast, we have our severe weather season. It typically falls in the spring into the summertime, but also we have our secondary severe weather season, and that's exactly what we're in right now. So truly, it's a season for everything here where we live, that we could see some of those strong to severe storms at any point throughout the season. And so that is also why we typically see some of those during the months of December and into January along with February. So as far as that rotation goes, still keeping a close eye on it. Not as impressive. They did just go ahead and drop off that tornado warning that was that initial one that was issued just closer towards Jackson, Mississippi. Kind of hard to make out where that rotation is currently. It's mainly just moving closer towards Movella and Harleston. Just some of that lightning also on the south side there of Agricola. That'll be more of that rotation, but they're still going to hold on to this tornado warning just because it was going to be that active threat that we were seeing on the ground. They hold on to them a little bit longer since it wasn't solely just radar indicated, since it did show that active threat lofting some of that debris. We picked that up on our debris tracker, that correlation coefficient, that bright green ball. If you were watching just a little bit ago, that was why they did go ahead, upgrade that tornado warning, have that active threat, and are continuing that warning even as we get closer towards 12:45, making our way closer towards the 1 p.m. hour. Here's all of that heavy rain as it's moving over 613 there, just closer towards Dean Nursery Road, Stone Cipher Road, Beasley Road, and also Tannertown Road. So really it's that Movella area that we're starting to see some of the heaviest rain. Buddy Finch Road, closer towards New Hope Church Road, and on the south side there of Agricola. So if you're still included in this, if you're closer towards Wilmer, if you're closer towards Agricola, just make sure that you're going ahead and being in that safe space. Now, if you're in Loosedale, if you're in Bendale, I know this is your county that we keep listing off, but you're okay. All of this is further towards the southeast of you. So you're not going to be seeing that active threat. Really, you're calm and quiet. It might be cloudy out there, but it's not quite raining at this point. You're going to be okay, just as this is moving further towards the northeast. Now here's going to be a look at that storm motion. Again, moving at about 20 miles per hour. So expecting that to move closer towards Georgetown around 1:30. This truly is more of that slow moving storm. Wilmer expecting that just in about the next 30 minutes. So although you are included in that tornado warning, you have a little bit of time. This is a decent heads up to say, hey, you need to go ahead and watch this. I mentioned earlier, the kids are out of school today. So if you're at work, if you know someone that has their kids at home, they live in that area, just make sure that they're staying updated with the forecast. Just because this was going to be that active threat we saw earlier, it wasn't quite just that area of rotation that radar indicated, but I do understand that we did just get a brand new update from the National Weather Service. Matt.
Yeah, Jennifer, it looks like they will be dropping this tornado warning within just a few more minutes. So they're probably going to follow it to about 12:50 or so. Then we'll probably see this drop off. We're just not seeing the circulation ramping back up with this cell. So it seems to have integrated itself more back into the main line, which is going to calm it down from circulation. It will still have, very strong gusty winds. It's still going to be pushing off to the northeast at around 20 miles an hour. And really anywhere in this whole line, you're going to be able to experience winds 50 to 60 miles per hour on the leading edge here of this line. And once again, the storms to the northeast at around 20 miles per hour. And once again, this is a tornado warning that is for George County and Mississippi over here near south of Lucedale. So we got the one there, and then also the warning extends into Mobile County. So this is why we have a tornado warning for Mobile County. Is for this part of it that just edges up towards Wilmer. And the warned cell we're keeping an eye on right in through here, right on top of Highway 613 south of Agricola. That had a spin up earlier in it, and it showed debris, and so we got word that we had a tornado on the ground in Jackson County off to the west of Hurley. But now this thing is widened out, and the National Weather Service just now canceled the tornado warning. So we are not under a warning anymore. And we're also not under any watches. So this was sort of an isolated incident here along this line. And this is what we talk about when we have a level 1 marginal risk of severe weather like we do today. We don't get widespread severe weather, but we can get these isolated random storms that will spin up briefly and then create a warning like this one did today. So that's exactly why we have a level 1 out of 5 severe risk zones out there today here on our Friday. In fact, I'll get that back up here in just a second, but we have been keeping an eye on all this for you this afternoon and through the morning as well. We'd anticipated these thunderstorms here. All right, so let's keep going here, and there's the outlook. So we're at a level 1 marginal risk, and we'll have a lot more on this, folks. So here's, once again, let me recap here everything for you. So we just lost the tornado warning, so we're not under any warnings anymore. We're not under any watches at this time. We're still under that level 1 severe outlook, so we're going to be keeping a close eye on all this for you throughout the afternoon. Of course, here we are at Fox 10. I'm meteorologist Matt Barentine, meteorologist Jennifer Lambers. We'll keep tracking these for you, and obviously, if we get any more severe weather, we'll let you know about it here at Fox 10.